First of all, the most important thing in the world is your habits. They're essentially the path that you're on. So, if you're just following a random habit that you haven't decided upon, then you're going to be led into a destination that you haven't decided upon. However, if you think long and hard while being in the right headspace about your habits, then you'll end up in the destination that you want to be. So, how and when should you be making your decisions? Well, firstly, you need to be in a good frame of mind. So, if you've had a bad day, if you're, let's say, a religious person, or if you're just trying to do a goal, let's use this for an example. If you're dieting and your aim is to be under 2,000 calories a day, and you go and have a large chocolate brownie for dessert, which in itself is 2,000 calories, and you're feeling really regretful, and you had that short-term bit of pleasure, but then the long term you start to respect yourself less for being impulsive. You know those days where you've kind of just not had a perfect day. Try to avoid making large life-altering decisions on days like those. The best time to make those types of decisions are when you're on a really good vibe for the day. Like the energy is positive. You're not, you haven't done anything to let yourself down during that day. Like there's things you can do to change the momentum of your day, like going for walks or like meditating, yoga, things like that. What's meant to quiet your mind and quiet the momentum of that day to then reset it. I mean, you can try going on a walk or doing some yoga, but it depends on how bad the momentum of the day is. If the momentum of the day is you've done multiple things that you didn't want to do during that day because maybe you're tired and you were easily influenced by hunger or something like that, and you didn't have the discipline to try and stay away, then you'll have let yourself down on that day. So it's probably best to not even bother unless it's a really time, like a decision of high time importance, and then you might have to do some yoga, go for a walk, or do both. Try and reset the rhythm and the flow of the day. Like if you're out of habit and things seem a bit weird, or if you've not slept well, then just, if it's a life-changing decision, do you really need to make that today? Do you really need to make that decision today if it's life-changing? The chances are probably not, but it might be. And then it goes on to, consistency of habit, which is if you are having one of those days that are pretty tough, then you've just got to do it anyway. If you're having one of those days that's tough and you don't want to do it, even if it's bad content or bad performance, you've got to keep the habit up. Because like today, for example, I've been out of habit today because I've had people around over the weekend, and I've also eaten way too much, even though I was doing well on the diet. So essentially, things that I've described in this video is what's happened today, and that's why I've used examples, and that's why I'm doing this video, is to show you that the content might not be great today. I might seem uncharismatic, or I might seem a bit slow paced or whatnot, but if you want motivation, or if you want to see someone else who's just doing it to keep up the habit, use this video as motivation. You can see clearly that I'm not on my tip-top shape in terms of what I'm delivering, but it's real. There's no bullshit here. Today I forced myself to come out, and the momentum of the day was poor. But where do I want to be? What habits have I chosen? I've purposely chosen these habits when I was in a better frame of mind. So I can rely on myself when I was in a better frame of mind of making better decisions than what I am making today, for example. Like, if I was to make my decisions today when I wasn't not in a good frame of mind, the decision today would be to not make this video, not go out for a walk, to not do my research later for my business ventures, and also I'd probably be impulsive in the stock market. So if you're looking at this in the future, I'm talking to my daughter at this point, Bo, if you're looking at this in the future and you're wondering what day it's on, it's I believe the 10th of March 2025. So go look at the stock market today and look at what happened. Everything's gone pear-shaped, but the other day, when I was in a good frame of mind, I had a gut feeling. I've seen this before, even though all my mates were calling me a pussy and all that kind of stuff. I was like, I've seen this before. This feels like the end of the bull run in 2020. Like, I don't know if it's the end of the bull run or it's a bounce, but it feels fucking bad, and I fucking felt it about a week or so ago, and I got out. So now I'm in a position where I've got a bit of a stockpile of cash, and that was a decision made in a better frame of mind. Going for a walk, not sinning, not eating poorly, doing exercise. And today, I am purposely not taking advantage of this dip because, I could regret this decision, but I think long term, I don't trust the foundations as to which I'm making this decision today, because my head's not really in it, and it's just been a day where the momentum's been not in a place where I'd want to make long-term decisions, if that makes sense. So even if it is the wrong thing, and to not be impulsive and take advantage of this marketplace, because sometimes being impulsive in a marketplace can actually benefit you, but it depends on how steadfast the foundations were of being impulsive. So I'm choosing to still sit on cash. This is a lesson for you to look back on, see if I got it right or wrong. So look at the 10th of March and see if it automatically bounced from this day. And the stocks I'm looking at are Tesla and S&P 500, and obviously all the cryptos. But some of those cryptos are looking tasty right now, but in comparison to what I've seen before, I know how low these cryptos can go. And what happened last time was things just started, like chunks of your portfolio just go away because you think this is the dip of the final dip, but the dip lasts 6 whole months, and every week it's down another 20%. So I've seen this before. Gut feeling is saying it is end of bull run, but I don't know whether that's a decision made out of see that is an example of a decision that's made out of kind of hope in a way, because I am out the market. But one thing you've got to do to keep yourself grounded is have options of what to do with money. So, for example, if I was to miss out on this opportunity, I have got other things that I'd want to do with that money, and I'm not really fully figuring out exactly how I'd want to go forth, because one side of me is saying I need to make all that money back by putting on, because all my the stock portfolio went down a little bit, and so did crypto. So in one sense, why I need to make all that money back, so I need to go through risky assets. And then the other part of me is saying, well, no, you lost all that money by going on risky assets. So, the most profitable I've been in my life was long-term dollar cost averaging every month, every payday, pop in like 30% of my pay into stocks, and that yielded some serious returns. So, I think, see, now I'm on a walk and I've cleared my head a little bit, and even just in this video I feel better just from talking stuff out to the camera, talking stuff out to future self and future probably daughter who's listening to this. Just talking it out actually helps incredibly. And if I was to say, what am I going to do now? I think, although I'm going to have to rethink about this when I'm having a better day, I think it's probably better to not go all risk in, but to put it in some safer stuff, like rather than just all bets on one thing. Maybe go, I feel like the S&P is probably going to drop a bit more, so maybe see where that gets to, and just get in the S&P like with 80% of it or 60% of it, and then have some fun with the other 40% of it and see what happens. But then over time, just keep adding to the portfolio, because as I've mentioned in previous videos, if you believe long term in that stock, like for example Tesla is down 53% from its all-time high today. Okay, it's at 225 and it was at 488. Okay, at the peak a couple of months ago. S&P is only down a tiny bit, nothing like that, because obviously it's averaged out over 500 companies. But you should always value it in the amount of stock you own. Like, do I think Tesla is going to go under? No. It's obviously going to recover and go way higher than what its previous peak was, unless if you go down the rabbit holes and you think the globalists are actually going to try and tank that company. It's not going to happen, because all you need to do is go for a walk or a drive and you see a Tesla every 30 seconds. Everyone's got a Tesla. Everyone's got Model Ys. Also, the only superchargers currently are Tesla superchargers. So, obviously that company's got good foundations. With these meme coins and crypto assets, it is all hype. So when the liquidity goes and the hype goes, so does the coin. But with companies, it's more long-standing. So it's times like this, if we are going into the next 3-year bear market in the crypto, all you got to do is look at previous bear markets and look at what the S&P did during those bear markets. The S&P doubled, okay, and crypto goes down 8%. So you can hold through the bear if you want, or you could just move out for a little bit and then see what happens. So that's what I'm going to do this time. So I've done it before plenty of times where it's the wrong decision, essentially, of trying to stay in the market and accumulating, which does actually work. But you got 3 years. You've got essentially 3 years of being poor, or not poor, but you're always yearning for that fourth year. This fourth year came and it was very underwhelming, actually, in comparison to what's happened in the past. But you just got to stick with it. But the moral of this story today is, make your decisions when you're in a good frame of mind.